You're listening to Happy Voicing. I'm joined with a very special guest today, someone who you might recognize and love their work. Whether it's from Pokémon, Shadowverse, or Talentless Nana, here's Kai Jordan.
All right. So I am with the utmost pride and utmost excitement to be able to have you here today. Before we begin, do you mind introducing yourself and just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is Kai Jordan. I'm a voice actor based in Los Angeles. I first got my start in the VO industry in the series Pokemon Twilight Wings as the character Leon.
Mhm.
And I've been voice acting professionally for since the pandemic, 2020. And aside from that, I also like to read comic books. I also like to, I like to study animation. I like to draw. And yeah, that's essentially just like most of the other things. I guess one other thing is I also like to look at dogs on Instagram. That's another thing. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I noticed that on your Instagram page you've been drawing like Spider-Man, like either Sonas or something for the countdown for the Beyond the Spider-Verse movie, and that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, I just sort of I'm one of those guys where it's like there's everyone has that like that one thing that they're looking forward to the most and they can't stop thinking about. And
Yeah,
Beyond the Spider-Verse was that for me.
yeah,
We have a release date slated at the very least. We have that. So I've just been trying to so just to commemorate it, I would just also as an excuse just to practice drawing on Procreate and whatnot. I would
yeah.
just do certain characters and topics and stuff like that just to just to hype up the release is and like knock on wood that it still is June.
Right,
We'll see.
right.
It's still
Absolutely.
June of next year, so we'll
Right,
see.
absolutely. Okay, so to begin, what does being a voice actor mean to you?
Voice actor means to me in the same way, like, because I love cartoons a lot, so it's like
Mhm.
it's an essential part of creating that cartoon along with writing and drawing and designing, and sometimes not even that, but also like if you're creating a story, it is an essential part because you're bringing the character to life with like the words written, but it's being acted out with your own voice, and
Yeah,
also what it means to me is like it's a way of like it's another step of bringing a vision to life, but like in
yeah,
a much more active sense.
yeah,
Like rather than and granted, like animators do a really good job at doing that, especially with like animated shows or whatnot, and they deserve a lot just as much respect, if not more.
yeah,
And audio designers and audio engineers and audio mixers do a lot of the heavy lifting to make sure that nothing sounds like off or anything like that because
right.
because it's so easy to like to record something. Anybody can just like record something, but you have to understand like how good quality it is and like the environment that you're recording in, but also you need to know how to time it properly so it doesn't sound like you're recording in a tin can, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. When you started your voice acting journey, what was your experience in assimilating or joining the voice acting community?
So it was kind of like, it's so I had done it before as a hobby beforehand,
Hmm.
like it was something that I would do just to practice. I would read certain things or whatever just to hang out with friends over Skype calls or whatever.
Yeah,
And then I would meet people who worked on web shows that I really liked watching. And I think it was mainly the reason why I think a big core reason I got into it is because I got to know a lot of the actors, a lot of the actors of color who were in the space.
yeah,
A few people I give credit to that would be actors like Devin Mack, who is best known for playing Sonic on the Sonic Prime series,
yeah,
and Bill Butts, who has done a lot of stuff on Cyberpunk Edge Runners. He's also been on One Punch Man. He's also done the Rurouni Kenshin reboot,
yeah.
and he's done a lot of stuff. And and another friend of mine, Tiana Camacho, has also been very supportive of my stuff, and I really credit them. And another actor I give a lot of credit to is Cedric Williams, who just recently got announced to play Poca Loco in JoJo Part 7.
Oh,
Still,
wow.
yeah.
That's
So
exciting.
yeah, so that's really cool. He worked his ass off for that, and a lot of those actors within that circle, a lot of the actors within the a lot of the voice actors of color have been a part of my community and have been very supportive and
Yeah,
been giving me pointers on how to keep going with that, just so I would say, yeah, just knowing the right people and also just being active within the community and just being a person, I think has helped with that because
Yeah.
you don't go anywhere but just locking yourself in a in your house all day, which ironically we all had to do that in 2020 because, well, there was a bit of a sickness during that time.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Have you picked up on any advice that truly resonated with you throughout your journey?
let me see here. Advice that I picked up on my journey. I'd say like, just it's really hard to think. I would say like, just I guess something just off the top of my head, obviously, stuff like when you take improv classes, some people say like, like don't like just keep committing to whatever you're doing or whatever. Just like
Yeah.
I guess that's one thing that comes to mind. Uh, Man, it's because there's so many it changes all the time, but like, obviously like, things that like people who let me see here, advice that you pick up. I guess another thing is like, just be persistence is something I've heard that in a podcast before. Like
Yeah.
I think his name was Jerry Trainer. He played
Yeah.
like Spencer on iCarly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he said that on a podcast somewhere, like, just stay persistent and all that stuff. And but also like I feel like I've just kind of learned a few lessons on my own along the way, where
Yeah.
like I've just sort of learned like, like a person like some people have said like, because like as I like because my main goal is like being to work in cartoons and stuff. Of course, I'd love to work more in work on more video games if given the opportunity,
Yeah.
and I'd love to do all that stuff. But like and that's always been my main thing. And getting my union card really that's sort of offered the great opportunity for that. And same with getting my current agency CESD.
Yeah.
It's like, and I get a lot of really good stuff to read for, and I think I'm in a very fortunate position. So as long as I just stick the path and just figure it out and just keep going, I'll figure it out on the
Yeah.
way. Obviously, there will be difficulties, but that's just any craft you go into, really. You just
Absolutely.
sort of have to just kind of do that. It's like, yeah, it's expensive, but it's also like I'm somebody who believes in very much, wherever you go, there you are. Sort
Yeah.
of like it's like it's like, yeah, there's some people now, granted, there are some people who do like, live in other areas and stuff like that or whatever, but it's like or just like, they bounce things out. And but yeah, what I'm trying to say is I've been figuring it out. I've been
Yeah.
figuring it out as I go. It's there's no set path to do it.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
people will tell you to do it one way, but it's like no one, there's no straightforward path for people to get into the industry. Like
Yeah.
it's all like different reasons, all different ways to do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. So with the one of the biggest like the fears that a lot of voice actors have is the ongoing production of AI becoming more rampant and many companies attempting to convert to more AI practices, which in turn steals human workers. What are some of your strategies that you practice making sure you deliver and associate with real human voices?
I just try to do the one thing that AI can't do, embrace my imperfections and just try to evolve and advance through
Yeah.
my own thing, not because like someone else told me to do it.
Yeah.
Because and that's the reason why I've also been learning how to draw and how to animate and stuff like that during my off time or even make comics is because like, the thing about AI is like obviously like that there's that whole thing and it's true what they say that like it doesn't need to be good, it just needs to be good enough, which is
Yeah.
why like like some people have been going so all in on it and they've been trying to make their money's worth on it, which is very frustrating and terrible.
Yeah.
But the thing is like the other thing, I call it a plagiarism machine because most of the
Mhm.
times it's just the thing, it can only take what you give to it. It can't
Yeah.
make things on its own. It can't improvise. Uh it can't have a proper sense of timing on its own unique sense of timing. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, now granted some of that stuff is really scary like when you see like there was a video by a YouTube user named Totally Not Mark where he went into like how now the anime industry is being affected by it. I think it was
Yeah.
like called The Day the Anime Died or something like that. And
Mhm.
it's like showing clips of like 2D animated clips that look somewhat convincing. They look like fan animations. But the
Mhm.
problem is it's like if you have a really keen eye, you can tell where they stole a lot of those clips from.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the biggest thing is, just embrace human imperfections and also just, uh also just enhance. I've also been trying to. I sign up for an improv class so I can fine tune my ability to improv because
Yeah.
again, AI can't really think on its feet. It's just gonna feed what you give it, and it's just gonna do that. And
Yeah.
and also on a drawing level, it's also learned. It's also taught me to like not be so hard on myself if I get an outline wrong. Because
Yeah.
honestly, like anything you can draw with your hand looks 10 times or 1,000 times infinitely better than
Yeah.
anything a computer can do because it's just going to give you like a binary code. Like it's going to give you the exact precise thing. Like it's calculated.
Yeah.
Rather, yeah, so just embrace human imperfections and just, be more human. Embrace that is
Yeah,
what
it
I would
does.
say.
It doesn't encapsulate the human passion that comes into creative works, and it's
Yeah.
just you're absolutely right, and I totally agree. Um, how can young people seeking entry into the business compete with both AI and senior talent?
Uh, I'd say like just like in terms of AI, it's like just again like just like fine tune your abilities as an actor. Uh, Pick up the pencil, or in this case, like pick up the script and just go and do community theater and be with other people and interact
Yeah,
with other people and stuff. Uh, Obviously, like there are people who are super young who are thriving regardless of age. It's like, but who go into this and they're able to figure it out. You're able, you can. There's a lot you can learn from taking certain classes, but also just be willing to take the leap of faith. With
yeah,
all that stuff. You can't like worry about like this existential thing or whatever, because like obviously there's always going to be things that will make things harder down the line, and yeah, it will get harder down the line, and there are a lot of us in the industry, but I'm somebody who does believe that like yeah, like we just have to like pick up the pieces and keep building. It's like they want to
yeah,
it's like there's always going to be something that will threaten like some form of creativity. You just kind of have to stay persistent and keep trying. It
yeah,
doesn't matter like what algorithm you have that's going to do that.
yeah.
As long as you're able to interact with other human beings and you're able to, keep growing as a person and you're able to go out and enjoy life and stuff like that, then like you should be able to still develop yourself as an actor because that's something that is very important. You have to live a life. You have to go out in social situations and be willing to put yourself out there,
Yeah.
not just to improve your acting abilities, but also just to be a fully formed person.
Yeah.
I get most. I'm an extroverted person, and I get most of my energy by being around other people. Like I pass out on my couch or whatever if I'm by myself for too long, and I
Yeah.
feel like there's a lot you can learn by being around other people that and stuff like that. So definitely,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Absolutely. What preparation do you see as most helpful for the field? Whether that's uh for you doing like vocal exercises or like what preparation does it take for you to like get in the mind or the mood of doing good work?
First thing a lot of people will tell you is to practice cold reading. That's
Mhm.
for sure a definite thing. Like you should be able to read a piece of copy without having to like without pausing too much.
Yeah.
Improv is also very helpful in that regard. Like it's been a while since I've taken an improv class, but having that
Yeah.
ability to think on your feet is something that can help a lot. And not a lot of actors talk about this, and I'm kind of guilty of not taking advantage of this during my early community college days. But
Yeah.
I would definitely say learning how to get into marketing is definitely
Yeah.
essential for any field of work that you do,
Yeah.
because at least if you know how to, regardless if it's acting or otherwise, if you do some form of marketing, whatever that is, if you know how to sell yourself properly, then you can do a lot of then you can like as long as you know how to sell an idea, then you'll
Yeah.
you're you'll be able to go far. You just
Yeah.
gotta whatever marketing class that is. I would say take up some kind of marketing class or whatever. Like, and I'm sure they offer that at community colleges and stuff like that if you're able to
Yeah.
just be able to do that, be able to sell yourself in that regard, but also just in regard like uh just yeah, and just make sure you have friends that are also creative. They don't have to all be actors. They can just be people that you're, really psyched about making stuff with. Like,
Yeah.
when like 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 I'm sure like the creators of the Venture Brothers, Jackson Public and Doc Hammer, like they're just really cool friends, and they just happen to also be really talented writers and really talented voice actors.
Yeah.
But also other folks like like there's other folks out there that just really click with each other and know how to make like another good example because I was watching Ninja Turtles video the other day. Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman, like they were
Yeah.
just two guys that were really inspired by Jack Kirby, and they would just do all that stuff, and try to come up with comic ideas, and then one night they just said, "Hey, look at this goofy turtle thing I made," and then they just turned that into a Daredevil parody, and that became a huge franchise. So,
Yeah.
dude made a lot. They made so much money that Kevin Eastman literally bought a tank. So it's like, yeah, like, yeah, yeah, true story.
Wow. Wow.
But yeah, and so yeah, no, just be willing to like, all that stuff I just said.
Yeah, absolutely. Has there been a role or a project for you that has been rewarding to you?
I'd say like, I mean, right now, like in regards to that, like I would say like some of them are, all of them are rewarding in their own special way. But like if I
Yeah.
had to like in specific honesty, I'd say like Leon probably is the most rewarding because it was the
Yeah.
first time that somebody took a shot on me
Yeah.
and it paid off.
Yeah.
And like, cause at the time, like, I'm sure, like, my name got to the casting director for that
Yeah.
somehow, probably because of the people I knew in the area, and it was the way to prove myself that I can actually do this. And yeah, and granted, yeah, like, bookings have slowed down, but I think that's just because, like, I'm actually competing with people who are also really good, and
Yeah.
you know, but that's fine. But like, that was like the first step where I realized, like, yeah, you can actually, you do have a place here at the very least. That was something that felt very rewarding, and having that community and support really helped a lot. And granted, I do get some anxiety and worry. Sometimes it's like imposter syndrome, but sometimes I worry like just with like with social anxiety, I worry sometimes that like slipping up or in any regard can just sort of set you in some sort of like social free fall,
Yeah.
which has happened to quite a few people in some areas. And the thing is, you gotta understand, human beings evolve and grow and change over time. So as long as like, you're able to just be with other people in real life zone, talk things out in person, and just put down, put down the phone for a few minutes, or at least like not necessarily not in a condescending like phones are the problem, or no, no, no.
Yeah.
Just like don't force yourself to like doom scroll when if you feel like it's making you unhappy or anything like that. But because it's very easy to like get trapped in the trap of feeling like, what do people think about me? You just sort of have to,
Yeah.
like, there's this book I read called The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, I think her
Yeah.
name is. And it's this I listened to it while I was like, flying out to Florida. And essentially what it is, it's like the whole thesis of the book is essentially just like there's let them and let me. Let them is essential when you're faced with a situation that you can't control that bothers you or what have you, you just simply let them, as in
Yeah.
you just let go of the idea that you have any control over it whatsoever. And then let me is you then make a choice of something that you can control. So, like,
Yeah.
for instance, like, say if you're in traffic or whatever and you're mad it's taking forever and this dude just cut you off, you just say, let them do it, whatever.
Yeah.
Then you say, let me listen to this podcast, or let me just listen to this album on my Spotify I haven't listened to or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's something you can do. And yeah, so for sure, like the long-winded answer to that is like, yeah, I'd say like Leon was like the first step into taking
Yeah.
that, and it was a big franchise that I really liked, and let alone like just so yeah, I would say that for certain, and I'm
Yeah.
hoping there will be other opportunities like that, whether it be like a
Absolutely.
franchise, whether it be a franchise I've always wanted to be a part of, or anything like that. So for
Yeah,
sure,
absolutely. Is there any work, roles, or classes you would like to share for any aspiring voice actors?
I would say if I can make any recommendations, I would
Mhm.
say obviously I've been saying like improv a lot, so like if there's a like obviously like if whatever you're like I've already mentioned like if you're in community college, take up like some kind of marketing class so you know how to sell yourself.
Yeah.
If you're doing like any kind of acting fundamental stuff like that, a lot of that you can do. There are some really good workshops out there that can really help you. And one I would recommend for sure is Richard Horvitz's Weekend Playdate. If
Yeah.
it's still called that, obviously, if anyone knows Richard Horvitz, he's the voice of Billy and Billy Mandy. He's also he's also in a Hell of a Boss
Mm.
as Moxie.
Yeah.
He's also various other people. Very big talent. Very big talent.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it'll allow you to just let go because there's a point in time because like yeah do kind of forget to just play pretend, enter our second reality, as we call it. And
Yeah.
as an autistic boy, as an autistic man, like it just took a while for me to like come to terms with being okay with like playing pretend, because people would say don't do that, that's weird. But now
Yeah.
it's like, but you learn to embrace that at a certain point. And
Yeah.
when you have the money, I have to emphasize, when you have the money, because it's $700.
Yeah.
I highly recommend taking up Charlie Adler's class once like you are like once you feel like you are starting to get your feet wet, and you're starting to like, once you have your demo, and once you're in a pretty steady state. And again, I emphasize, once you're ready to take that, like just like make sure that you're okay with that, because it's an actor's class, and that's something like he's very informative, like, because and I again I don't, but and it's very informative, very good stuff, like again, like when you're ready for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, like if you're just getting into anime and stuff like that, Bang Zoom has classes on like anime workouts and stuff like that, like dubbing over things and understanding certain fundamentals. But also NYEV also offers classes. Voice Tracks also offers classes, some really good ones. Like they'll have like casting directors and agents go in there. So if you want to like like there's ways to learn, or more specifically, there's a way to put yourself out there. I would say definitely like introduce yourself to like people who work in the industry actively, and they'll give you some really good advice. They're really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the classes that come to mind.
Okay, awesome. And just as a last question, uh, if you were to give a piece of advice to a younger you with the experiences that you've learned throughout your voice acting journey, what would you tell them?
I would tell him just like just it's like, yeah, it's gonna be hard. You know it's gonna be hard, and there will be people that will tell you to go in one direction, but again, it's your career.
Yeah.
As long as you are not hurting anybody, you'll be fine. As long as you'll figure it out. Just be persistent. Like if the only time, like, just keep at it or whatever. And obviously, like obviously, like make ends meet just to allow yourself to keep doing audition. Like obviously, yeah, like there are gonna be moments where you don't book anything, obviously,
Hmm.
and you'll have to be willing to, just just be willing to like just like earn money consistently, like through like a day job or whatever you have to do to survive, and then but still be willing to offer you the chance to like go and do auditions, like
Yeah.
just just have something coming in, so that way you can keep doing the thing that you actually want to do.
Yeah.
That's sort of what it comes down to, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah, keep at it.
Well, thank you so much for providing your time and providing a voice for aspiring actors and new voice actors to get into the field. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Happy Voicing. I hope you enjoyed it, and remember, whether you're starting out or experienced, break a leg and happy voicing.